jungle position where Seb and Chelby, being super aggressive players, might be ganking that middle lane where a lot of their carry potential does lie.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And do we actually think it might be a problem as we hop into Champion Select that, you know, Chelby now has to have DDD there towards the top side of the map, or 3D, or triple D, or whatever you want to say. There's 3 Ds in it. That's his name. Duh. I'm a kangaroo. I don't really understand how these things work. So, because he didn't exactly have the best game last time we saw him, do we think this could be a problem moving into this?
Yeah, 3D is going to have a tough time. He's against Pac-Man, who has consistently improved in the OPL. That goes without saying. He's a strong player. You can see that through the bans being reflected there now. Pac-Man could carry. 3D could have a poor start to the split, and our follow-up week is still going to be in a lot of trouble. But Paradise also in a very similar position, and aptly named for the opposite reason, is that he's not going to be in Paradise. He's actually in the lane he doesn't want to be in. Yeah, no, he's going to be completely as far away from the top side of the map as he possibly can be as he fills in for Chandy Boy. We'll see whether he is going to be able to, you know, move those carry top laner mechanics into the AD carry position. I know you've got some theories about that, Wally. It's an inclination, of course, being a Riven player in the top lane, formerly known as RSI. You would assume that that translates directly to Vayne as the AD carry of choice, but there's also the Ezreal backup, and once again, that's actually taken away.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to touch on the bans here as Trundle, Shen, and Jax totally top lane bans here against Pac-Man on the side of Avant, as Twisted Fate and Ezreal have been taken away on the other side. Abyss leaving a whole lot open at the moment. Things like Ryze, things like Vladimir, all
Vlad
sorts of things.
They have to get rid of Vlad here, otherwise that'd just be straight first pick by AV, and if that goes into the hands of Triple, you're not asking to have a good time on Summoner's Rift, Abyss. But there are so many options open that I don't know if banning Vladimir is ultimately the best solution, whether they could pick something into the Vladimir like the Ryze, but at this stage, they opt towards getting rid of one and risking the rest.
Yeah, and does the Ryze get first picked here, or do they go to something like a Rek'Sai, something that can really, I guess, facilitate any sort of comp that they want to build towards?
So Rek'Sai's a really strong champion, and I don't think they should look towards that with all of the top lane bans that they've actually focused on here.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe picking something for 3D would be a better outlet for their first rotation. In saying that, Chelby, whilst he could look towards the Rek'Sai and maybe deny that one from Seb if he were to lock that in, remember that he's got a great Gragas. He has a lot of other cool champions in his back pocket.
That's actually a very good point. We've spoken about Chelby's champion pool a lot. The fact that his Zac looked so incredibly good, if we remember back a couple of weeks. So can definitely mix it up. 13 seconds to go, though, and DDD not quite able to make up his mind just yet. See what they do decide to fall on eventually. Rek'Sai is going to be the hover and locked away for Chelby, and we'll see what AE decide to respond with.
Yeah, so Chelby, very strong Rek'Sai player. We have seen it from him in his last series that he did play. Sometimes successful, sometimes not. I don't think it's actually Chelby's fault, all things considered. He is just a fantastic player on that. And it is ultimately denial from Seb, who may default to something like the Elise now.
Yeah.
But it has been taken away. I question if he actually has the Gragas, and the reason I brought that up in the first place is because Gragas does what Rek'Sai does. He's a tank, and he's a damage dealer. The only new addition to that fact is about a Hecarim, I would say.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they do decide to go for something new like that. Of course, Seb's Nidalee is available, something that he did formerly like a lot. But thinking about grabbing this Azir for Luch, and Ryze completely going unnoticed so far.
Now, Luch is a fantastic Ryze. It'd be shocking to see him go towards the Azir over it, and once again, it's this middle point between I can play it, but I really don't want Triple playing it.
Yeah.
Because his Azir is absurd.
It most certainly is. Despite the fact that he took a couple of nerfs, maybe. Still looking completely ridiculous on the champion. Here's Triple, and so now, thinking about Nunu instead, which is definitely just a poppy guy.
See, I wouldn't even call the Azir changes nerfs. I'd just stick with the word changes.
Yeah, probably changes.
It's pretty ridiculous what
sort
he was able to do.
A tap on the back of the hand saying, oh, no, no, no. But really, we didn't actually take anything away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a spoiled kid.
That being locked in and Tegan getting his better support, honestly, it was mentioned once again on that analyst's desk, means that Abyss have drafted themselves so far into a solid position once they round that out with some frontline and some physical damage.
Yeah, and already a lot of wave clear here built up by Abyss, so are capable of making it through the long game if AV are going to start off aggressive. It's now Triple thinking about the Victor, and that's going to be locked away. Chelby, the Bard for Jake. Lots of playmaking potential here from this AV roster.
Yeah, so knowing that he's into the Karma, choosing the Bard, to me says that, yes, Paradise is feeling in the AD carry shoes, but we're still going to have a good time in laning phase because I am actually just Bard and I can carry lane if it comes to it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Bard is one of those champions that can just pick up the AD carry, put him on his back and say, well, we're taking you through this game. Just right-click someone, please.
Yeah, essentially. So we'll have to question where Paradise does go from here. In particular, that Ezreal being banned away. Wouldn't be surprised to see Raid perhaps go towards the likes of the Sivir and have the Sivir Karma bottom lane. Makes life very difficult for an AD carrier who's out of practice or new to the role in general, simply due to the pressure, honestly, that a Karma and any champion has.
There's also the fact that Pac-Man has recently played the Olaf as well, and a Sivir Karma Olaf sounds like the most disgusting thing to deal with if you're a backline member ever. And if you're going to take advantage of a weak spot potentially here of this AV roster, could potentially be Paradise there in the AD carry position. But they are going to take away the Gragas, who are questioning Seb about. He is still going to play it as Raid picks up the Ashe, more utility focus in the AD carry position. Yeah,
and that's fantastic from Seb. I will say, though, by being magic damage, we already said there was a lot of that. Now there's going to be a little bit more. Pac-Man yet to pick his role for the last place, unless, of course, he is Gragas, would mean that he might want something like the Olaf. Might actually want something like a Trundle, which it has been banned, unfortunately. And again, those options starting to wane.
Yeah, 3D, considering a Yasuo pick there towards the top side of the map, is Jake hovering something else. We'll see exactly what AV are going to take away here to round out this team composition. The Lucian makes a bit of sense. Of course, Lucian Bard has always been a relatively powerful 2v2 lane.
Yeah, definitely has been. And saving their last pick for 3D, you'd expect, honestly, something like the Maokai, but we don't know if he's very carry-oriented to the point where he wants to be something like that.
Wow, and Aurelia are actually going to be blind picked here by DDD. He did play the Fiora and then the Maokai, one after the other, both of them being a pretty horrible time, to be perfectly honest, on Summoner's Rift. We'll see whether he can find redemption here with the Ionian Blade Mistress.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, we actually saw Gragas into it yesterday between Sin and Hellions.
Yeah.
And it has an alright time once it gets to an even point with one item. So the Trinity Force Spike maybe not as influential in that matchup because you have so much Diffusal and Disengage. Whilst they haven't locked their top laner yet for Pac-Man, there's always the potential of that flex. Have to see where they go here.
Yeah. T-Gun is going to be taking his time here. See what he does decide to take away. As far as the rest of the composition, what are we thinking? Are we thinking that the Olaf dive into the backline would work out with what they've already put together?
Well, they have a lot of wave clear. They have a lot of 4v4 power. They could look towards a split pusher. Unfortunately, one's been taken, one's been picked away. Two have been banned away, rather. And so what they could opt towards is either matching the Aurelia or diffusing the Aurelia and having a team fight strength. Something that is, I guess, can follow the engage of an Ashe arrow, so you don't rely on strictly the Ashe. You would have a better time.
Yeah, well, it is looking like Diffusal here as the Nautilus has been locked in for Pac-Man. We'll see whether the, I guess, second Maokai in line.
Well, yeah, it's the inefficient Maokai, I believe it's referred to as. Of course, it has a shield instead of a heal on the passive, and so arguably a little bit more durable because a shield is considered effectively health, and Aurelia doing true damage is a little bit better against a Maokai than it is a Nautilus, funnily enough.
Yeah, that's true. Titan's Wrath can be quite effective. We'll see whether Pac-Man can make it work for DDD. If he does get off to a good start, could become pretty difficult to deal with, even for something as tanky as a Nautilus. We'll see how he does this game, or whether Pac-Man's just going to be able to affect those team fights, because it does look like that's what AA put together. Yeah,
and AV's really going to have to look towards 3D and hope that he does find form after a very unfortunate first week in the OPL. He has not had a great start, and so right now, they have put trust into 3D. They have said that you are the Aurelia, you can carry.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see whether he actually can do that because, of course, we're about to hop onto the Rift and he's going to have to perform. And he's got Paradise now sitting on there towards the bottom side of the map. And, of course, he can just say, oh, look, maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. Maybe giving him some pointers. We'll see exactly what is going to happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. Use that hashtag AVWin if you think that Avant can take this game down, or use that hashtag AEWin if you think that Abyss are going to be able to get that one done. And look, you have to just make sure that you're picking the right second letter because that's the only thing differentiating these teams right now. And it's actually a little bit similar to these teams at the moment just because they are relatively close in the standings and this could honestly go either way.
Well, this is the battle for fourth essentially, right? So very important for both of these teams to really start on the right foot. A best of three can push it to the wire when you actually feel like there's something on the line.
Yeah.
And a lot to prove, especially through that mid lane.
We'll see who is going to come out on top as we have a look at the Keystone Masteries who are, of course, onto the Rift for game number 1 between AV and AE. Skippy and Wally here with you, filling in for Atlas and Rusty, who are too lazy to turn up, just partying. Can't believe it.
I don't know if I'd call partying lazy.
Oh, that's a good point. But, I mean, they're not doing this, which is pretty fantastic. Perfectly frank with you. At the moment, looks like the team's just lining up, playing pretty defensively.
Of course, both of these supports, whilst you're seeing them hit each other and T-Gun wins, are damage-based supports. T-Gun being able to augment his own strength with the Mantra. Jakey being barred means you get the Thunderlord's proc with a Q and a Meep slap, and you can trade very heavily against the AD carries. And this 2v2 that we're looking at potentially for a bottom lane is going to just ultimately be very potent throughout laning phase. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a lane swap. However, keeping in mind that Paradise, not an AD carry main, may not have a great time in a lane swap.
It's a good point.
He's a top laner.
They are actually going towards standard lanes on both sides of the map. Jake makes his way back into the jungle here, and Paradise is going to meet him as this Lucian. We'll see how that one does turn out. It's Triple and Luch, the agricultural experts themselves, are going to be able to start on their minion farming escapade.
Yeah, lots of farm to be seen in this middle lane between the two players that, as you mentioned, whilst they may be agriculturally inclined, they just don't like missing last hits, so you can judge them endlessly if you'd like. And at this point in the game, they are still going to be where we look towards, not so much because they can kill each other in a Victor-Azir matchup, which ultimately is just diffusal of one another. It's more so because Seb and Chelby are on Rek'Sai and Gragas.
Yeah.
And this is a super exciting 2v2 matchup if we ever get to see these worlds collide.
Yeah, it's no longer the Kindreds or Nidalees or Graves. You know, we've got ganking junglers here early on in this game as DDD, Corrupting Potion running. He's doing a lot of damage to Pac-Man here as Titan's Wrath is going to turn things around. Pac-Man nicely done. Of course, huge cooldown on that ability.
Yeah, and 3D just pushing his luck. But once he gets that level 2, can get some sustain in his back pocket. He'll be fine. Aurelia, of course, having W.
Yeah,
nice stuff.
Yeah, Raid is going to get stunned up by the Cosmic Binding as Paradise is getting some work done. The heal out already, and the exhaust used by the Abyss bottom lane means business, this Paradise guy.
Yeah, and of course, having no health here, Raid, whilst he might have a potion running, could ultimately cause a lot of issues. Remember, all summon is still available for the bottom lane, but Seb's here top.
Yeah, Titan's Wrath is going to come in once again. The stun down on DDD, and he's looking to try and get this one done himself, but it's not happening, and he's on the wrong side of the map. Equilibrium Strike comes out. Seb has got the barrel. The red buff not going to be there. Flashes after him and gets the body slam. There's the bonk, and first blood goes to Seb.
And gets the max range keg. That flash by 3D was a little bit greedy. He could have maybe looked to force it over the wall, but Seb's able to match with his own. So burns the summoner. I would not be shocked to see the Gragas return to that top lane one more time and try and continue to put down what is this Aurelia.
Yeah, and of course, identifying a weak spot here potentially of AV. DDD really wanting to, I guess, prove himself after his less than optimal performance before. As T-Gun has found Chelby exactly right. Does get a nice snare as the blue buff's helping him. But Jake going to come down, does have a shrine. He's going to help him out.
And of course, a lot of the resource bar there for the Rek'Sai heals him whilst he's taking damage and is essentially enough to keep him in that. T-Gun not having exhaust. Might be a little bit sad about that one at this point, but really good awareness, honestly, from, I'm going to say, Seb telling him and T-Gun going to try and keep that blue buff there.
Yeah. Certainly was able to. Shelby now towards the bottom side of the map. You can see Seb right down here as well, invading very deep as Pac-Man's going to teleport back towards the top side, try and interrupt 3D's farming time.
Look at the immediate movement as well from Seb. Straight into the enemy jungle with a tracker's knife that he gets from First Blood. Places an abundance of wards, and I think he's looking towards that simply because the Infernal Drake is up and they do want to look at it potentially as an objective to take. Whilst this bottom lane didn't have the best start, they still have minion control pushing towards AV. They can afford to make rotations that'd be greedy, but if all lanes are winning, then sure.
Yeah, Cosmic Binding's going to go wide as T-Gun forces out the Relentless Pursuit. There's some Coco for Paradise to enjoy if you'd like to. Does so nicely. We'll see whether they can clear up this lane before it hits the turret. It's Triple having a good time farming things out, but Luch just doing Luch things. Able to stay ahead in that farm count quite effectively.
I think he's cheating. I think there's Raptors involved in this.
Oh yeah, the man loves some popcorn chicken.
Yeah, either way, we are still seeing, as expected, a lot of farming. Luch not having teleport at the moment after he did a early recall with 600 gold to try and get those daggers in. Means that he has to walk from now on. Which also gives this kind of opportunity to Chelby, knowing that Luch not having mana has to go back to base.
Yeah, understanding that it would be a 2v1. Seb having to back away there, heads towards the bottom side jungle. Doesn't affect the fact that they still have a heck of a lot of vision on the bottom side, and Seb's making his way over to the dragon. DDD has teleport as well.
So the junglers butted heads at the Raptor camp, and knowing that Chelby was on the top side of the map, knowing that they also had warding control of the entire bottom side of the jungle, something that they set up a couple of minutes in advance. Abyss now work towards the Infernal Drake, and Chelby predictably on the opposite side of the map, so very well rotated from this red side.
Yeah, and the fact that Pac-Man also had that pink ward available as well, knew exactly where Chelby was, wasn't going to get ganked, so nothing gained from AV. And a big first dragon going to this Abyss squad.
Yeah, and of course it's a scaling Drake, so their immediate power does not increase as a percentage values.
Oh no, they get about 1 or 2 AP and AD. You know?
Yeah, so once again, depending on what the next one is, I think it looks like a mountain.
It does.
You'll find that they may still want to push towards these. And every extra Drake you get counts towards the other.
You see DDD using that Transcendent Blades. Pac-Man's taking a fair bit of damage. All the blades fly through. Corrupting Potion running, but Pac-Man just standing his ground. The big Nautilus.
There's one thing that I can say even from experience solo queuing against DDD is that he likes to fight. Whether he wins or loses, he will actually just hit you.
You can see that already, and I guess Aurelia is a decent playstyle for that because you want to be hitting stuff as much as possible. Utilize that hitting stuff, get the healing. Nice. Pac-Man going to clean up that minion wave.
Hit him style.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
I expect that from DDD, but not having his flash up means that he was meant to be playing passively, but here we are. Of course, Seb, they would have seen, and this is the balance that the map actually presents itself with. You see the Drake taken, you immediately push top.
Now you can see Abyss pressured out of their jungle. Triple tanking up this Raptor for a moment. Seb's going to be able to take it away for himself, though, as the Raptor Sense spots the ward. We'll be able to get rid of that one as well.
Now he's looking mid, but he's not actually going to get it. He flashes on Luch, which against the Nazir, put it in the not good column.
Yeah, might also get just divided underneath the turret, which wouldn't be great.
Exactly. You don't one-man the Azir.
Paradise throws down the culling. Nice shield from T-Gun. Speeds right up, gets him out of the way.
Doing well though, actually, Paradise, up about 16 CS.
Yeah.
Raid's been missing a lot of farm under this turret. And I feel like I'm going to partially attribute this to T-Gun by not assisting him properly.
Maybe throwing a few too many Qs at the creep wave, messing up them cast creeps.
Good question, actually. Most Karmas level up their E first, so they have the max of the shield. And so your Q shouldn't do enough damage that it actually takes out the backline. But this early in the game, there's a chance that the Q does more than what the turret had hit it for and just one hits them.
You can see Paradise is having a good time here towards the bottom side. 3D, actually not doing too badly here as Pac-Man taking some hit and style damage. And Seb waiting for an explosive cast, has hit that level 6.
3D to Q, but actually he's just found his way in.
Well, depth charge goes down. DDD is going to flash. And there's the dredge line. Seb comes in. So much CC from this duo. It's ridiculous as he gets smacked back into the anchor with the explosive cast. Nice gank from Abyss once again.
Yeah, just flashes for no particular reason there. The Aurelia now 0, 2, and 0. The major benefactors of this, of course, being the jungle and top lane positions of Abyss. Hasn't amounted to a fantastic amount of anything, but once they push this into the turret, they won't get it. They will still deny a lot of farm, and now the advantage grows even more.
Teleport once again going to be used by 3D here to get back towards the top side. Misses the cannon creep, but we'll pick up the rest of these underneath the turret. So at least farm is going to stay pretty even between these two top laners.
At it again.
Yeah, looking to try and grab Chelby, and
Both
they will be able to
6.
find him. Yeah, the arrow will be available, but the tunnel gets Chelby out. See whether that blue buff is going to reset. Luch is coming over. He's like, I want this, man.
And a good result for Chelby is still that Luch doesn't get it, right? So if he pressures and maybe forces Seb's smite, then it's a win. But because 4 people rotate, reset aside, as long as 4 people rotate from Abyss, they push out what is just Chelby. He's lucky to get away with his life because they don't rotate efficiently enough. With an Ashe and a Karma, it's pretty scary.
Damn right. There's a lot of engage potential from this Abyss roster from almost everyone on the team, apart from maybe T-Gun. DDD once again.
He can't win this trade.
He's struggling. Transcendent Blades are going to come out, help him clear out the wave and get some extra damage on Pac-Man. Oh, he wants to be able to surge around, but is going to be able to get it as Chelby makes his way top for what seems like finally.
And he was spotted again, though, because there's a trinket ward just there. They may assume that he's recalled past this point, but Pac-Man should err on the side of caution here, simply not knowing where he was and only knowing where he got to.
Seb as well, you can see it is towards the top side of the map. AV have readjusted their vision with pinks and regular wards here up towards the top lane. Riptide not doing too much. 3D is able to get rid of it. Pac-Man now going to clear the pink ward. Not a lot that 3D can do, actually, not knowing where Seb is.
Yeah, and one of the major problems that we're going to see with Luch and Triple in this middle lane as well is the fact that they aren't diffusing one another simply means that they're just going to be farming. And throughout this time, we've seen Seb be far more efficient around Summoner's Rift, and the rest of Abyss actually keeping tabs on Chelby. So they've drafted themselves to succeed, but they've also played the map out knowing that Chelby was going to be the threat. And now, because this middle lane is equal, Luch and Triple both going to be relevant, but you would imagine that Seb and Pac-Man would be a little bit stronger hitting those back lines as the game progresses.
You can see Seb has found Chelby one more time. Luch is making his way over. You can see the bottom lane taking a while to get there as Jake is going to tank up the arrow, and he's stunned for so long. Flashes doesn't make his way into the magical journey as the explosive cast going to clean him up. Paradise, though, gets the 1v1. Not going to be able to take down Pac-Man, but nicely done to get something out of the mess.
Yeah, and Pac-Man actually teleports to lock that one down. Now 2-0-1, and the Drake is here. They've got a big unit of members. That's a big shield as well on Pac-Man. And 3D has no teleport on the Aurelia. You would imagine this is taken. No steal opportunity even available for AV.
Yeah, Chelby not with the smite. And the Mantra Q going to stop him from being able to get in here at all. There's only 2 members of Abyss right now doing this Dragon. However, still think that they will be able to get over the top as Triple.
They might want this.
Yeah, Emperor's Divide comes in. There's a Chaos Storm. Luch taking so much damage. Triple is able to take him down. The Dragon still fighting multiple members of Abyss, and T-Gun very low on mana. Triple flashes forward, wants to get this kill, but Raid's at full health. Tempered Fate not going to find anyone as the Ghost comes in from Triple and will get himself to safety. AV stopped the Dragon.
Yeah, they stopped the Dragon, and that is simply because Pac-Man recalled. Ultimately, you'd have to call that a mistake on the side of Abyss. Whilst Pac-Man's having a good time up here, he stops the turret from going down. He might actually just die.
Oh my god. Titan's Wrath doing work, flashes and gets the auto attack. Of course, Nautilus' auto attack range pretty silly and gets the solo kill on the Aurelia. Thank you, Seb.
And that is a fed Pac-Man.
Damn
That's
right.
all I can really say from this. What it does mean, once again, and 3D will respawn with teleport up, something that Pac-Man does not have. And not getting the Dragon was a mistake from Abyss. It is a Mountain Drake, however, and takes an awful long time to kill. But now AV looking at it, Abyss trying to respond once more.
Oh, Seb is going to be able to steal that one away as Chelby takes the magical journey out of the way of the arrow, and that's a lot of time spent just to get that one stolen away.
That's a lot of time spent by both of these teams just to get the first team that started it get it once again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Endless efforts actually taken towards that one, but Seb wins the Smite War, and the top lane turret goes down in a 1v1 situation where 3D, he had a pretty poor first week. He hasn't kicked week 2 off in the right way by any means.
Yeah, that's very true, and it's only going to make Paradise's life harder here trying to deal with this Nautilus who's so incredibly big right now. Only up by about 2 CS to be honest, but 3-0-1. If you get a tank ahead, it just feels so much worse. It's like you can't kill him, ever.
Yeah, and once Pac-Man recalls, I think that's actually going to hold true. You probably cannot kill him from this point onwards. Not only that, Seb's now accelerated towards his items. And once he gets what appears to be an Aegis or a Spectre's Cowl, he's going to be even harder to kill. And with Triple being the primary threat, Paradise, of course, playing well, is actually pretty far ahead of the Ashe. I don't think that actually amounts to much because Ashe is always going to have hierarchy.
Yeah, the 40 CS lead, of course, it's not going to give you a massive global form of CC. Really? We'll see whether Paradise can get it done, though, because, of course, we've seen what he's capable of on the top side of the map. Whether he can transition that into a late game play on this Lucian,
I mean, that will
be impressive.
Through split pushing, and this is now going to be very team fight heavy. And all things considered, the Nautilus is a champion that's designed to kill low range champions. Even LeBlancs and Assassins, like you can get onto people way too easily. You just press the R key on Paradise on that Lucian, it doesn't matter how good his mechanics are, he's getting knocked up.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's where you run into the risk, and that's why champions like Nautilus, like Maokai, actually is super valuable. Holds on.
Yeah, Tempered Fate is going to come out. Shelby's going to make his way in. They are going to get the knock up there as Raid taking so much damage. Piercing Light is going to help take it down. Shelby picks it up. Nice flash. Gets him out of the Emperor's Divide as the Explosive Cask is going to lock down the Lucian. Luch takes so much damage on the back end though as DDD doing some work. Equilibrium Strike is going to get Seb, and it's a double kill for the Aurelia, getting the carry top laner back in here, and T-Gun's in trouble. Triple with the sick dive.
And AV bite back super hard. Remember the teleport advantage that they had. Pac-Man might have his up now, but it was too little too late. And aggressive maneuvers from Abyss, but they get countered.
Yeah.
And it was through Jake honestly starting it all off. Like at every situation, whilst Jake hits the ultimate, I was still thinking, yeah, Abyss are probably still going to find a way to win this one.
Yeah.
But 3D, he was there.
Yeah, that teleport play was fantastic, and it's exactly what this Aurelia needed as well. Trinity Force now done, has the Merc Treads, not going to get stunned up for as long with the passive of this Nautilus. Let's have a look at this fight again, as they started it up beautifully with that Tempered Fate.
Yeah, they definitely did. Unfortunately, Jakey misses the Q, but they have just enough damage to lock him down. Luch comes in, misses the ultimate. Paradise, whilst he dies, remember that he took the Azir and Gragas ultimates to lock him down, which means that Chelbian, the Aurelia from this top lane, have an abundance of damage, and then Triple just walks in ghosted, just drops down all of his deeps.
Yeah, puts down the base. He's going to be able to lock down that kill, and look, we'll see whether AV can transition from this into some more, as they have 400 gold now in the lead. As now Rift Herald is going to get started up. I thought it was Baron.
Yeah, it is a purple thing inside the pit.
Yeah.
No, they've actually put a lane swap into effect essentially here. Paradise now the top laner, with Raid sitting on the bottom, which means we're going to see turrets very quickly begin to fall all around the Rift.
Yeah, well, see whether they are going to be able to get it done. Luch hanging around here towards mid lane. We'll be able to keep that turret well and truly healthy, but Raid and T-Gun now unanswered here towards the bottom side have the help of Pac-Man, so the game getting accelerated.
Yeah, it is. Gold's about to fall everywhere. The Aurelia is on the opposite side that she needs to be of Summoner's Rift if she wants to help turret takes, which means at this point, either gets dove or diffuses the minion wave. There's no winning situation for that Aurelia when there's 3 people staring you down, besides living.
Yeah, well, Transcendent Blades is going to get thrown out there. As you can see, DDD didn't take too much damage, but was able to clear out this minion wave. Blade Surge doesn't want to use it to clear out these minions.
No, there's no need to do that. Of course, remember 20% CDR. Means that the ultimate will be up reasonably quickly again, but maybe not quick enough. And Paradise is super pushing at the moment.
Yeah, he's smashing into this turret. Does have the double daggers as well as the Berserker's Greaves in his first item in the Essence
They're
Reaver.
still going, AV.
This is ridiculous. Tempered Fate's going to stop the Pac-Man back, as Raid will probably get back to base. The recall is going to go through, but Paradise
Turret's
doing
gone.
work. Yeah, this inhibitor turret's dead. And AV just play out this lane swap scenario, the game of chicken, beautifully.
Yeah, I didn't expect a Lucian and a Rek'Sai to push harder than 3 people of Abyss, but remember that it's a Nautilus. I have a Karma who can help. A Raid does not attack as fast as a Lucian can on turrets, plain and simple. Lucian has the spell weaving effect of attacking twice instead of once.
Yeah. Now, Latzling are actually doing some work here.
Even going for a QSS immediately as a second item. Very awkward item build. It'll work though.
Yeah, it does mean he can get out of the way. Even Dredgeline, honestly.
See, there's not many things. There's the Ash Arrow.
Can't you, you can QSS Dredgeline and then Relentlessly Pursuit away?
You can. But ultimately the knock-ups that come out of an Azir and a Nautilus, they're not what he's looking towards.
Yeah, and a Gragas, I guess.
He just doesn't want to get engaged on if he's standing in the front line, and being a top laner, I would expect this AD carry to be in the front line.
Whoa, Jake takes most of his health buff and a couple of auto attacks. The culling flying through here, as it is going to be Seb locking down their second Mountain Drake. 2 Mountains and an Infernal now for Abyss. As the late game looking like somewhere that they can make a play in this game. Neutral objectives and turrets are going to take a lot of damage from this team, but we saw AV still able to get the work done as far as those turrets are concerned.
They can still get the work done, but it's not going to be as easy to do as Abyss right now. Have set themselves up nicely. Of course, the gold lead between these two doesn't actually amount to anything, and a lot of the focus is going to be towards Baron now that we're past the 20-minute mark, opposed to that Drake, depending on what the next one is.
Whoa, Luch throws down the ult, but misses Triple. He's going to get flashed on, and Triple picks up the kill. The exhaust comes in a little bit late there as the arrow connects onto Triple. And that Tempered Fate just not quite positioned correctly. Explosive Cast comes down, saves Jake for now as DDD wants to find the backline. T-Gun is oh my gosh, okay. Raid is able to take down the Aurelia before he kills the support, but it was a suicide mission. Nice play from Triple to start things off though.
Yeah, very well done. Seb actually, I believe, flashing the Tempered Fate to secure the kill at all. It was a nice Bard ultimate from Jake. Looking to disengage. Chelby decides not to fight with it. Paradise.
Yeah, in trouble here as it's a really nice Cosmic Binding to stop things up. Seb taking some damage here as
Paradise
gonna get killed by Chelby. 2 dead already is now Pac-Man taking damage. Paradise just launching himself around. Pac-Man finds the kill in the end, but has the damage been done as Luch teleports in, looks for the damage and finds it there under Jake in the backline, and Chelby forced to run. The attack command from these Sand Soldiers not going to be quite enough to lock Chelby down, but this fight has gone on for a long time.
Chelby's going to die.
Yeah, well, close too.
How badly do you want the Raptor, Chelby?
We just wanted to Prey Seek a Luch.
How badly do you want the Raptor, Luch? We finally disengage, and still, it feels like everything's trading evenly,
it's
albeit...
even more even right now.
Yeah, albeit extended.
Yeah.
And a little bit disjointed. Everything ends up at like the exact same spot that it started, just with an extra 1,200 gold in everyone's team. That was very well played from Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
He's showing that he has what it takes to be a top 80 carrier as well, apparently.
Getting that flash over the wall, taking down Raid. Understands the priority targets. It's fun to watch as well in this Lucian.
And Raid's just not having a great game either, to be fair. It is the strength of a Lucian, for what it's worth. Very fundamental build as well, going for that Essence Reaver. Looking for the cooldown reduction. Arrows up.
Yeah, he's going to find Triple there in the mid lane as Luch just delivers him to his team. Triple's going to die. Raid picks up the kill. Abyss make it look easy.
And something that we didn't mention, but we absolutely have to now, is that he doesn't have Cleanse. He has Ghost. The Ghost has been really handy for him, but playing a champion that doesn't buy a QSS because he's magic damage based, and if he does, then it's a lot of money wasted that a Cleanse would have supplied him with. Could actually hurt them right now. And with this Baron started up, that could be the exact problem that now seeing come to fruition.
Yeah, exactly. And look, with double Mountain Drake, this is getting melted. Tempered Fate is going to lock down both carries here of Abyss, and Chelby is going to find his way in. Luch does connect with Chelby as the explosive cask is going to be dodged. Jakey, though, can't save his jungler as the Magical Journey gets the rest of them out of there. Triple, of course, still dead for now. Can Ghost from base. The Baron once again going to be started with no Chelby. This should be a lockdown for Seb unless a miracle can happen.
There's no miracle to be seen this time around. Abyss, even if they find Paradise, they shouldn't, have now set themselves up extremely well in this first game of the series. Finally hitting a point where they might be considered in an advantageous position.
Yeah.
Pac-Man 405 having a great game at the moment. And that little skirmish that just took place was the Aurelia on a flank that nobody respected. The rest of the team of AV just had to run away.
Just couldn't quite get the work done. You're going to see Paradise on the bottom side of the map clearing out all of these minions. We'll keep padding that scoreline. We'll see whether AV can control these minion waves to stop this Baron buff from doing too much work on the side of Abyss.
And they keep having Paradise sitting in these side lanes. And yes, I'm going to keep reiterating the fact that he is not an AD carry player. It makes sense that he's side lanes. Seb's fine.
Yeah. I was about to get excited.
Nah. It's okay, don't get excited. It does mean, though, that by having the Ashe in Abyss's team composition, they can find engages knowing that Paradise can't teleport, can't rotate. Even 3D on the Aurelia, if he was in a side lane, doesn't have teleport. Whoa! And that's the best example of what will happen if they're ever not grouped.
It does have the Essence Reaver as well, so that Oceanic Pro League are going to come up relatively soon. Inner turret falls very easily here in the hands of Abyss. They now mantra themselves over to this inner turret on the top side of the map as DDD trying to take care of Pac-Man. It's looking very difficult, though, as the rest of his team's going to turn up and lend some aid. Wavefleer finds their way in as well. But look at these turrets fall at the hands of Abyss, and their lead is only
hooks on
extending.
Triple.
Yeah, in goes Pac-Man. He takes a lot of damage. Fantastic Tempered Fate breaks up this fight, though, as Pac-Man's going to die. Raid takes down their top lane. He doesn't actually fall, of course. He's got a GA. As that massive body slam onto Triple, and Jakey Paradise now watching his team fall around him, has to retreat. Now Abyss wait for their minion wave, and will be able to take down this inhibitor.
20 seconds on the closest member to assist Paradise, who is a one-man army right now, and I don't think he has what it takes to stop at the very least the inhibitor. I question if they can even keep themselves in the remainder of this game. The Baron buff, 2 Mountain Drakes and an Infernal could be enough to close it.
Well, and the arrow's going to connect there as well. Nice QSS, but he's just going to hop in the Bouncing Castle. The ace comes in. The Nexus turrets are falling. And Abyss Esports are going to be able to take down Avant.
Very impressive from Abyss Esports. For a Game 1 victory, you have to commend them for that one. They did it. They found an advantage. They closed it out immediately.
Yeah, just really, really, I guess, proactive play out of this team from a game that was extraordinarily close. Like this many close.
Like that.
Yeah.
That many.
Approximately. I mean, there's fur in the way, but there is a gap there. In the
can't
middle of
see
it, it was just completely ridiculous. And then they make the Baron call and come out ahead. I mean, Seb's smites were fantastic the whole game. They just trusted him, knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I think very good control of the jungle. Pretty much just a strong Game 1 from them.
Most certainly was. We are going to throw it back to Spawn on the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Skippy. And with that, it was going to be Abyss Esports picking up game number 1 over Avant Garde. And you know, I want to just talk about the themes of this game because we already mentioned in the pre-game that mid lane jungle, it should be relatively even. These guys should be able to just hit at each other, especially when you pick up something like a Victor into an Azir matchup. But the side lanes is where we're looking, and that is also where Abyss thought to look as well early in this game.
Yeah, the disparity was in Pac-Man, and let's just right out of the gate, it was a triple ban against Pac-Man. They banned what? Trundle, Shin, and Jax had the Aurelia there. He comes out with the Nautilus, which I understand kind of like the theory behind it or like how it was kind of working. You know, he's got CC riddled through his kit, so every time he auto attacks her, she's gonna, you know, kind of stumble a bit and not do as much consistent damage output. But it was really just the fact that him in tandem with his jungler snowballed him ahead and had the experience advantage, had the kill advantage, had the item advantage, and ran him over.
Precisely. It got to a point where Seb was able to get Pac-Man so far ahead. He got a solo kill onto an Irelia and Nautilus, and that's... You don't normally see that in League of Legends.
Yeah, no, you certainly don't. However, you have to say that Avant Garde were able to hit back rather hard in the bottom lane. You know, they had a great teleport play. At least it looks like the team is starting to play on the same page. It looked like everyone was behind, like 5 members showed up versus 4, and they won the fight.
And that's why the game looked so close, is that teleport play bottom also got Triple D kind of in a safe area. He got his Trinity Force as well as his upgraded Merc Treads after all was said and done in there. And it was like, okay, they've reset the map. They actually even got an advantage on the top side by pushing down that inhib tower. So this could actually be a free-for-all, but then it just comes down into another 5v5, and Pac-Man is just monstrous.
On top of that, we saw Raid use some pretty good Ash Arrows to get lots of picks on towards triple after that initial team fight they had in the bottom lane. That really gave Abyss that snowball into that lead.
Yeah, and I know you weren't happy about that. Taking Ghost on a mid laner, like it got him a couple of kills. I will say that he killed Karma in the bottom lane. He killed Luch in the mid lane after he was able to ghost back from a wall. But it's a bit greedy not taking the cleanse versus an Ashe there.
Yeah, super greedy, and we saw it as that initial pick. Yes, both the summoners, I believe, were down on the pick into Baron, so it's not like he probably would have burned them. The cleanse would have saved him that scenario, but possibly could have changed the course of the game. He was just locked up for far too often.
Yeah, and with that, it was going to be Abyss Esports picking up game number 1. However, guys, don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to have more League of Legends action and hopefully a little less party. See you then.